Hi everyone, it's been a while. I haven't uploaded a video in quite some time, and I'll get into that in a minute, but for now, let's talk about Battle Spirit Saga one more time. I'm sure you have all seen the news that Bandai will stop developing the game next month, and the Pasadena event will be the last official BSS event, or at least until they decide to launch the game for a third time. It sucks to see because this is a game that's very special to me. It's a game that brought me into a hobby that I've really grown to enjoy, and a part of me hoped that even if this game did continue to exist, even if just in like the periphery of Bandai's attention, that it would always be one that I could come back to. But I think deep down we all knew that this was a very likely outcome for this game. Battle Spirit Saga had a really rough year too, and there were a lot of reasons that set 2024 up to play out the way that it did, and that's one of the things that I'm going to talk about in this video. But the other reason I wanted to make this video is because I actually recorded and was editing a similar one back in October, but I didn't post it because I thought it would stop people from wanting to get into the game. That last reason is very important to me because I had this very fortunate series of events that got me into this game, and I'm very grateful for that, and I didn't want something like this video to be out on the internet that would then stop somebody from wanting to get into this game and have their own moment. But I guess that doesn't really matter anymore now, does it? If you ask me, Battle Spirit Saga suffered from two major issues. One, supply and demand, and two, a constantly declining player base. On the supply and demand side of things, I think it has been very well stated how bad the distribution during Set 1 was. There was so much product that stores were practically giving their cards away. A lot of Set 1 X-Rares and even Set 2 X-Rares were dollars, if not pennies, and all of the starter decks, most of which had staple cards, weren't really holding their value very well either. This means that local game stores were having trouble selling their product while also trying to meet their bottom line, and since the demand could not keep up with the supply, stores stopped selling the product, which meant less and less people were getting exposed to the game. Conversely, over the last 2 or 3 sets, you would be lucky to find a playset of X-Rares online for an affordable rate, and some X-Rares you would be hard-pressed to even find a playset of online, which means the supply had now dropped below the already decreasing demand of these cards. That brings us to the second major issue that Battle Spirit Saga suffered from, which was its constantly declining player base, and I think we can start off with the removal of cash prizing, which ended up being a pretty devastating hit to the community. Now, some may say that the game was better off without the players who were only here for the cash, but the reality is that they were paying customers, and when it comes to competitive events, they were butts in chairs, which is incredibly important for a game that was widely advertised as a competitive TCG. The timing for this announcement couldn't have been worse either, because it came pretty soon after the release of Set 4 via a Facebook post, which kinda just felt like the rug was being pulled out from underneath us. Personally, I feel like advertising cash prizing for your game and then removing it shortly after a set release is a bit shitty, but also, like, who am I to criticize a multi-billion-dollar company? From there, online events would see less participation. There was one in-person event that was on the brink of being canceled because not enough people signed up, and Gen Con was just kind of a disaster. Not the event itself, ProFest ran just fine, but some people who had secured invites to ProFest weren't able to attend because Gen Con had sold out of badges the week before the convention started, which sucked because that meant that winning an invite to ProFest did not guarantee you a seat at the table. On the topic of Gen Con, did you know that you couldn't even buy Set 5 product there? I just thought that was really strange because the year before, Battle Spirit Saga had their own booth in the exhibitor hall where they were selling Set 2, which had also just been released. Now, I didn't think the game was going to get the same treatment as it did the year before when it had officially launched. But to go from big display booth with new product in stock to the next year where there was no new product available and you couldn't even buy it on the exhibitor's hall floor, it just started to feel like that Bandai's attention hadn't just shifted away from the game, but almost like they were trying to bury it so no one else could find it. Ultimately, I stopped playing Battle Spirit Saga by the end of last summer. Altered had just come out and I was really excited about that game, but that hype quickly fell off for me, unfortunately. There's a couple issues with that game that I'm hoping that they will fix before I give it another go, but by the time November hit, I kinda just gave TCGs a break altogether. I kinda let a couple bad transactions that I thought were scams that ended up just being poor communication from the sellers leave a bad taste in my mouth. So I decided to pick up the newest RPG at the time, Dragon Age the Veilguard to hopefully take my mind off of things. I enjoyed parts of that game, and that's about all I can say about it. Around this time, I also decided to upgrade my PC, but that was also not without issue. To make a long story short, it took over 2 months to figure out that this new space has some power issues, and at the risk of jinxing it, I think we finally found a solution. But that just means that after several hours of diagnosing, many trips to Micro Center, and many dollars spent, I finally have a fully functioning PC, it would seem. Over the holidays, I spent a lot of time thinking about how I wanted to continue this channel, and I think the best move forward is to just not commit too hard to any one single game, and rather just talk about the nerdy things that I'm enjoying at the time. Like right now, I'm having a blast with Dragon Ball Super Card Game Fusion World, and I think that's what my next video is going to be about, but I don't have a time frame on when that's going to come out, and I think that's the other change that I'm going to make to this channel. Last year, I held myself to a standard that I thought was really difficult to maintain while being new to content creation, which was to upload 1 video per month. Now, I know that is nowhere near the amount of content that some creators can put out, but I also want this to be a passion project of mine, and if at any point it feels like I'm forcing myself to upload, then it just feels like I'm risking authenticity in exchange for being seen, and right now that's just not my goal with creating videos. So I hope you all stay subscribed and tune in whenever the next video comes up. To close things out on this game, I just want to say again that Battlespirit Saga is a game that will always mean a lot to me. There are very few games that have left such an impression on me, but I learned a lot about TCGs as a whole by playing BSS, and I love that this game gets to be the foundation of which I build on that knowledge. Maybe most importantly, this game allowed me to find a creative outlet in both deck building and content creation, which I'm super grateful for, because a creative outlet is something that I had been looking for a long time, and the fact that I was able to put both of those together and share them with you on this platform is something that I am super happy about. I do want to give a quick shout out to the community that is looking to continue this game with homebrewed cards and sets. I'll leave a link in the description below where Ayumu is talking about their plans and what they hope to accomplish, and if you're interested in seeing what they're cooking, definitely go check them out. I also have to give a shout out to my local game store, Bulldog Community Gaming. It's a store that is not as local as I would like it to be. It's like 40 minutes away from me when there's not traffic, and you know, there usually is. But I'm very fortunate that there was a store that was reasonably close to me that ran this game, because I also know that that was not the case for most people who played this game. Scott, the owner of the store, such a good guy. I remember when I first called him to get, some information about product availability and the locals that he ran on Tuesdays, and he offered for me to come in before Tuesday locals started, where he would teach me the game, and I did that, and he used a constructed yellow deck that just completely destroyed my green starter deck. He then let me borrow that yellow deck, which I did not understand how to play at all, to use throughout the tournament, and he just kept giving me all these promo packs. I think I probably opened like 10 promo packs on my first day when I was there. That is one bar that this game set really high for me, and it's that it takes people like Scott who truly care about their community to get people like me interested in playing games that I've never played before, and he did a damn good job of it, and I don't think that I would have played BSS for longer than a month if it wasn't for finding his store. By the way, Travis, if you're watching this, thank you for this suggestion. It has done wonders for me. Finally, let me give one last thanks to all of you who tuned in and watched my videos. I even got to meet a couple of you at some events, so thanks for coming up and saying hi and nerding out with me about this game. I also really enjoyed getting to connect with each of you in the comments or on Discord or Reddit, and that's really what I'm hoping to do with this channel. I think by branching out and talking about other games, not just TCGs, I can make more connections and really see how far I can take this thing. Battlespirit Saga was a good ride, and seeing it come to an end like this is like closing out a really good chapter of a book. The next few pages are blank, and it's up to me to keep writing it, but I'm challenging myself to do that, so my hope is that you will come back and see what that looks like. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one, whenever that is. Peace.